All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Layer 13, as we are about to get underway for Stint 3 here at TORA's 12 Hours of Sebring here for the C Lobby. And the pole sitter for Stint 3 is going to be PTG Jarb. This car absolutely dominated in Stint 1 and brought home a good result in Stint 2 as well. Yeah, Caesar, it's not going to work. All right, sorry about that. Your pole sitter for this stint is going to be PTG Jarb in the 666 machine. They've gone back-to-back on victories. Can they do it again? Second place, it's the third different driver in the 30 HYR Esports machine. It's going to be Dangus57 Hemi, followed by Hillfigure in the number 8 going back-to-back. Then Fim Racer, then FLE Zeno, and lastly will be LMP Nano. After that, you get to the GT category. OSM Thomas is going to be the second different driver to jump into the Lambo. Lambo has a first and second. Thus far, couldn't they go first, second, first? Second place is LMP Amoeba. Third place, they still don't know who third place is, apparently. This is ridiculous. Third place is SRD Shredder. Going to be in the starting the number 76 machine. Then behind them, come on camera. Then behind them is going to be GT Shrek in the number 28 BMW, followed by NWR Arkina in the 156 NWR entry. TNR Glizzy is doing back-to-back stints in the Mercedes. They will be starting sixth. They will be starting sixth in GT. Seventh will be Prius Killer, representing the VER team in the number 93 Chevrolet. Then will be LMP Bilbo. He's going to be in the 8th position in the Ferrari. 9th will be Desert Wolf in the 769. 10th will be LMP Moss in the Sky Sports. Well, it looks like Sky Sports, sorry. LMP Esports 827 machine. Reminder, second place is LMP Amoeba in the other McLaren. So McLaren's had one good result, but they don't seem to be strong overall. Then in 11th will be RDE Paribia in the number 100 Mercedes. 12th will be Colco 429 in the 31 RMM BMW. Then Velocity in the number 15 Honda. Snowbarski, that's an interesting name. Snowbarski in the number 12 Beamer. And rounding out the back of the field will be Otavio Orange in the 375 Porsche. And that will be the lineup to start our third stint here at Sebring as we wait for the field to get underway here. Excuse me. Oh, I apologize for that. You can hear the field rolling now. 6 GT cars, 15 prototypes. And assuming we've not had an issue, we actually might be just a little bit ahead of schedule. No, we're not ahead of schedule, but we closed back in quite a bit on time. But anyways, as you can see the field rolling through now. As they go under the bridge. We are underway once again here at Sebring for racing. And again, the PTG entry just opens up a gigantic, fantastic lead ahead of the field. There is already moves being made farther back. This is for fourth as Zeno and Fim Racer at it. Zeno even hits Hillfigure. So immediately the prototype category launches into action. In GT, it is Thomas who leads, and Amoeba is already under threat from SRD. Shredder trying to go to the inside. Side by side wants to get into second as early as possible. Amoeba is not letting Shredder get it that easily, though. They have a fight back. And GT Shrek is tucked up right behind. That's basically 3 prototypes all on top of each other. Hilfiger now loses a position to Xeno. And now Hilfiger might lose a position to Fim Racer as well. That's exactly what looks like might happen. And Nano has a run on both of them. Here comes Move. Oh, wow, Nano way off circuit. He went for the dive and just could not keep it on track. You're still struggling to keep it on circuit. And Nano falls back to 6th. In GT, Amoeba has caught Thomas, though. So the top 2 are at it, and it is a very heavy fight for 3rd. Shrek trying to look for a move by Shredder. Very aggressive right now. You don't want to end up being the cause of a big accident here. You've got to be careful. But this fight for the lead and the fight for 3rd is absolutely riveting at the moment. Amoeba loses a bit of ground to the Lamborghini in a straight line, but the McLaren seems to be very well hooked up in the corners. Again, this grid is going to have kind of a funky ordering because there are so many cars, because this is basically going to be started off of the finishing results of Stint 1, and Stint 1 had that big accident that semi-randomized a lot of the finishing positions in this stint. Well, in that stint, so we're going to see a lot of faster drivers and faster cars forced down the order, farther than where they should be. But Darb and Hemi have opened up a gap in the prototypes. But in GT, it is on. Oh, and Shredder sideways right in front of Shrek. He's still struggling to get back on the track. Here comes Shrek. Side by side, he's going to go around the outside of the BMW. Neck and neck under heavy braking. There's not a thing that Shredder could do. Dropping a tire to the dirt there was just fatal for his chance to stay in 3rd. And they're side by side for the lead in GT. But it's so obvious that the Lambo has a straight line speed advantage, I feel. But Amoeba's gonna put up the inside. Go deep, there's a bit of contact. Thomas is sideways. Amoeba has the inside. Thomas tries to make the outside work. Amoeba has to back out of it. And Thomas holds station for now. Shrek loses ground in the final quarter, and now Shredder goes to the outside. The BMW can make moves on the outside. It's the only GT car that can. But Shredder doesn't. He falls right back in line behind Shrek for the moment. Thomas holds the lead over Amoeba for now. But Thomas does not seem to have the same strength in that Lambo that his partner did. The Lambo was not just running off into the distance like we saw before. Velocity, again, it seems like every stint we've had a driver who's had an accident and had to pit in the first 2 laps, and this time it's Velocity in the Acura once more. Shredder is really struggling behind Shrek. He was struggling ahead of him as well, but he seems to be struggling behind. It does seem like Shredder is faster if they were in clean air, but the thing is, it's early in the stint, you're not in clean air, you have to take what you've got. You have nothing back. Nano and Hilfiger having a little bit of a spat for 3rd in prototypes. It does look like Hilfiger has lost a bit of ground. But the top 6 in prototypes all relatively close, which seems to be a first. Amoeba still runs behind, but that's a big twitch, a big slide by Amoeba. And Bilbo in the Ferrari trying to claw ground back here. Now Fim Racer gets by Hilfiger in the prototypes. So whatever has happened to Hilfiger, it seems to be moderately terminal. He is just hemorrhaging time now. Xeno would be the next one to catch him. But the real interest has been in this fight for GT. Fight for third between a pair of BMWs. Fight for lead between a McLaren and a Lamborghini. McLaren didn't really show up in Stint 2, but they capitalized on good fortune in Stint 1, and they are really on it here early on in Stint 3. Bit of a run into the dirt there by the Lambo. Amoeba has a run. He's got a great run. Looks to the inside. Drag race. The Lambo may have a straight line, but Amoeba had such a good run out of the final corner. He's going to have his nose ahead when they get into the corner. Heavy into the brakes. Who's going to go deeper? Oh, they hit the wall, and they both are sliding wide. Amoeba takes a position, but Amoeba slapped the wall and knocked both of them offline. And Amoeba very nearly hit the tire barrier as well. If Amoeba hit the tire barrier, that would have been the entire field taken out in the GTs. But we stay fine. No big instance yet. But Amoeba in the McLaren leads. Thomas goes for a lunge. But Amoeba has the run out and holds the station. Third and fourth, Shrek and Shredder have pulled away from fifth on back right now. So it's a pair of two-car battles in GT for the top four positions. Prototype seems to have already figured itself out for the most part, although Hilfiger and Xeno are definitely in position to maybe make another swap. Hilfiger's has not been having a great time of Xeno. Big twitch there. Top four all basically in a line, and now that Amoeba's gotten by Thomas, Thomas is honestly slipping back into the clutches of Shrek. Shrek's opened up a bit of a gap on Shredder at this stage of the event, so we could have a fight per second here. BMW versus Lambo. We're gonna ride on board with Shredder for a flying lap here. See what a flying lap is like around Sebring when you're trying to hold off cars behind you and in front of you here. Well, you saw it, ladies and gentlemen, while we were riding on board with SRD Shredder. Amoeba, first to fourth in the lap, had a big miss in the final corner and gave up 2 positions and gave up another one to Shredder coming onto the back straightaway as well. But Amoeba is already trying to fight back, not willing to give a spot up without a fight. And yes, he is backed by Shredder. Here comes Arkina, and Arkina is the one I'd really be scared of everyone here. But at the moment, it is the Lamborghini of Thomas who leads. And Dangerous Himmy has lost second in Prototype and might lose third to Fem Racer. So while the Prototype leader is absolutely ran away, second through fourth is very active right now. Here comes Fem Racer to the inside. Lunges. And nearby, Hemi. Is there damage in Hemi's car? Because he seems to be down. Oh, well, he's into the dirt, and that's not going to help. Very nearly gets run over by Hilfiger in the process. But now Hemi slips to fifth. They're all about to catch Velocity, who had to pit for damage in the first lap. Here comes Zeno now. Thought of making a move on Hemi, but did not stick with it. Now here comes Zeno to the inside. And he body checks. Just slams Hemi off the road. So Hemi goes from second to fifth in about half a lap. Meanwhile in GT, Thomas has it, Shrek wants it, and Amoeba is trying to claw back into this. Shredder has fallen off just a little bit, does not seem to have quite the pace of these 3 ahead of him. BMW is the only car that can make a move on the outside. He's there, he couldn't complete it yet. Can he make the move on the outside though in 2 and 3? It does not look like it. And not only that, Shrek goes all the way back to third and suddenly has Shredder behind him as well. And now they're all back in the position they were in about 3 laps ago. Fem Racer's just got up to second and Prototypes as well. Nano is now the one losing positions, as he was the one with a bad run out of the final corner this time. We got about 6 cars. Yeah, we got 6 cars all on top of each other in the GT field right now. No one's really able to break out and run away from the rest of the field here. Thomas has the lead, but we've seen Thomas lead, we've seen Amoeba lead, and honestly, if things were a little different, it could easily have been Shrek or Shredder who was out in front. Almost sounds like airplanes going by at some points. Top 2 now seem to have opened up just a bit of a gap, as there is a fight down for third. Shredder looks to the inside of Shrek. Shrek's wide, Shredder has the inside. Boy, Shrek takes an extremely wide line on exit, trying to maximize straight line speed, but in the process has actually lost the position of Shredder. So Shredder goes back to third. And now Shrek is under threat from Arkina. And like I said, Arkina, of all these BMW drivers, Arkina is the one I would be the most worried about. Side by side for a lead. Ever so briefly, but it happened. And now the Prototypes are about to start cutting through GT traffic here. Right out the back of Thomas. Amoeba and Thomas have both pulled away just a bit from the rest of the field, but if they stay side by side for too long, that advantage will be gone almost instantly. Move. What can Amoeba do to try and get by Thomas? He got by him once. Can he figure out a way to do it again? I have no doubt that Thomas is holding Amoeba up. I'm actually seeing third and fourth in GT. Shredder and Shrek start to close back in just a bit. Just about nose to tail. Amoeba will have a great draft here. The Lambo does have a straight line speed advantage, but the draft will help negate that problem for Amoeba. Into the back, into the final corner. Thomas is wide, and Amoeba to the inside, neck and neck for the position. It's a drag race for the GT category lead. And it looks to me like Thomas is going to have it still. Amoeba on the extreme outside will cut back in, try a crossover on exit. The bold strategy pattern, let's see how that plays out. He's got him! And he's through! Incredibly smart drive by Amoeba to get back to the lead. And now here come the prototypes. Thomas has a run on Amoeba. He looks to the inside, side by side for a lead once again. Prototypes coming up as well. And Jarb has just about been caught by Fim Racer. If Fim Racer is able to clear the GTs, no, Thomas actually hits Fim Racer. And the GT category is now all bunched up on top of each other once more. Here comes Nano, who is stuck and just can't do anything. And Nano very nearly goes off circuit. Holds up Amoeba just a bit. This is great news for Thomas. Because now Amoeba and Shredder are stuck fighting for second here. Shrek has really fallen off a bit, and Bilbo's moved up. Oh my goodness, Hilfiger! What in the devil? Damage on the car? No damage. He's able to keep going. There's the fight for second that Hilfiger is blitzing by now. Second in GT, that is. Neck and neck, but no, Shredder will outrun. Shredder moves into second. He gets a tap from behind by the McLaren. But Shredder now moves up into second. As far back as 14th on the second lap of Stint 2, he drove his way back up to fourth, then started fourth in this stint. He's up to second now. There's Hemi, and there's Zeno. Oh, Zeno just kind of bullied Shredder off the racing line. This gives Amoeba a chance. Amoeba dive into braking. The room is there, but he thinks better of it. He's not going to go for the dive yet, and good thing too, because Thomas was just compromised by traffic. Top three all on top of each other once again in GT. Thomas has the straight line speed advantage. It's going to make him the hardest to pass. You're going to have to just beat him in one of the wider corners, because he'll beat you in just about any straight line speed fight. A little bit wider, a little bit worse off in there. But Thomas now doesn't have to worry about prototypes again. He can pull away from Shredder. Shredder and Amoeba can start fighting, then Thomas could have a chance to open up the gap. Down the back straightaway once again. Is Shredder close enough to have a draft on Thomas? I don't think he is. But Amoeba was not great enough onto the straight. No, Shredder is getting the draft off Thomas. He's pulling away from Amoeba this time. Thing is, he pulled too much, went too fast into the corner, and lost a bunch of ground in the final corner. He'll try a claw back on exit. Top three all right on top of each other in GT. And there's a fight for lead in prototypes as well, but here comes Shredder. He's got to run. He looks to the inside, but Thomas shuts the door. And mind you, FemRacer is also right there on guard. Could we finally see someone challenge the PTG drivers on pace today? Is it finally going to happen? FemRacer around the outside, goes the long way around, and they're by! FemRacer blitzes past PTG Jarb. Oh, and Jarb into the dirt afterwards. But in GT, it continues to be Thomas, Shredder, Amoeba. Thomas has the advantage when it comes to track position. He's got clean air on the car, 40% tires, 12% fuel. Shredder, who runs right behind him, 42% tires, 11% fuel. And Amoeba, who's in third, 8% fuel, 38% tires. So Amoeba will have to pit before these two for fuel. Tires aren't his issue. It's going to be fuel by the looks of it. He is going to be pitting a little earlier than this duo ahead of him. And I think Thomas is, at least for right now, Thomas is managing his tires slightly better than Shredder. Nose to tail for a top three. GT Shrek is in a distant fourth with Kariba and Bilbo in fifth and sixth behind him. Shredder's got to run. Puts the bumper to Thomas coming onto the front straightaway. Really getting that Lamborghini upset. Shrek is what? Shredder dives to the outside but will not go for it. He tries to crossover, but Thomas blocks and kind of accordions all of them up. Amoeba gets a run but takes it into the dirt and kills the run right afterwards. And now, as Colin says, Shrek is coming. Shrek is trying to show the Sea Lobby that he is love and he is life, I guess. Thomas has opened up just a tiny bit of a gap on Shredder this time by. Shredder's a little bit closer to Amoeba than he is to Thomas. But again, we anticipate that Amoeba will be pitting a lap earlier than the two ahead of him. What has happened to Zeno? Zeno might have had an accident at some point because he is stuck back in the middle of traffic and he's got a full tank. So yeah, either he had an accident or he decided to get off strategy and pit super early. Kind of hard to tell. Let's see here. Did he just pit early? He may have just decided to pit early. But yeah, FemRacer is tolling the lead. And that is Jarb, who is in pit lane right now, along with Nano. The top three in prototypes have yet to pit. No one in GT has pitted yet outside of Velocity, and that is because of the lap 1 incident. Does Amoeba pit this time by? Yes, Amoeba pits 1 lap earlier, which is what we expected. The 1 lap undercut worked fantastically for that McLaren entry in Stint 1. Are they going to get some good mileage out of it here in Stint 2? Zeno kind of compromises Thomas's run in the corner, but Shredder's not close enough to do anything with it. It's going to be a long time until they deal with prototype traffic again. So it's now just going to be clean air, mano y mano, between the Lamborghini and the BMW. BMW has yet to win a stint. Granted, we've only had 2 stints, but it's been Italian manufacturers. Lamborghini Stint 1, Ferrari Stint 2 thus far. What's it going to be here in Stint 3? Amoeba pit along with Glizzy and Kalko. Arkina has actually lost some positions in that glut of cars and about 4th on back. And now FemRacer pitting out of the lead. And he'll be joined by Hilfiger. Where is Yarb gonna be in relation to Fim Racer? As Yarb going down the back straightaway, just nowhere. This is not gonna happen. Hemi will inherit the lead back simply because they have not yet made their first stop, but I have a feeling that Fim Racer, it's their run to lose here. What of Thomas and Shredder? Is this the lap that they pit? Shredder's got a run on the Lambo. Not really a run, more of a draft, but he is there. And where will this put them in relation to Amoeba, who has already made his first stop? They come into the pits now. Who else joins them? Or is it only this duo? Looks like it's only going to be this duo. So the lead will now go to Pariba. And now the question is, where is Amoeba going to be in relation to this duo? Amoeba is flying down the back straightaway. He's been basically in clean air for an entire lap, while those two have still had to contend with each other. Is this going to work out in his favor? Amoeba's a little wide in the final corner. Nice tight exit. Down the front straightaway. I think Amoeba might just get him. No, not even close. Well, that's closer than it probably wanted it to be. Yep. Amoeba is still behind both of them. But Shredder and Thomas are in the fight. And Shredder got him! On exit on the pit, Shredder got Thomas! That's some incredible stuff. And there's a prototype that is off. Is that Zeno? No damage, but he was well off for a while there. But now, of all the GT drivers that have pitted, Shredder is your leader. Oh! And that's Thomas who's gone off. So Thomas struggling on the getting the tires back up to temperature. So now Shredder is under attack by Amoeba as Hemi finally pits out a lead and gives prototype lead back to Fim Racer. Paribla at the head of the field right now. They're going to have to pit this lap. And so will Bilbo, who is right behind them. Well, actually, Bilbo could go another lap if he really wanted to push it. No, they're pitting. So now the lead goes to Shrek. So a new BMW leads here, and it is Shrek. Otavio Orange in second right now. Where is Shredder going to end up in relation to all these drivers who just pitted? Same with Amoeba, who is running just with him. Has a cone right in the middle of the track. Okay. Now, it looks like Shredder will overtake all these GT cars without issue. Looks like Jest Pariba will kind of give him an issue, but not really. Nope, Pariba didn't even have the speed. So Shredder is third overall, but of everyone who's pitted, he is first. But how long is that going to last? Because here comes Amoeba. Oh, Shredder so sideways, and Amoeba's got to run. Around the outside goes the McLaren. Does Shredder push the issue into braking? Yes, he does. But Amoeba should have a good run out. Drops tires in the dirt. That kills it just a bit. They're still side by side. But I think Amoeba should still be able to beat the BMW into the braking zone. No, it's going to still be a dead heat. And Pariba is right behind them. These guys are fighting with Pariba for position legitimately. Mind you, Shredder will have tires 1 lap fresher than Amoeba, and Pariba will be 2 lap fresher than Amoeba, 1 lap fresher than Shredder. Oh, and Amoeba into the dirt, just for a moment. And now here comes the Mercedes around the outside. The GT fight just will not quit. Now Pariba is on the inside of Shredder. Amoeba trying to figure out where to go. Shrek and Orange are in the pits now. Big slide by 2 of our top 3, and now suddenly Bilbo's in the fray. There are so many cars on top of each other here. Shredder has the position, but everyone's gonna have his number into the corner. Shredder holds the line. Pariba wide. Now Amoeba to the inside of Pariba. Bilbo trying to capitalize on anyone who makes a mistake. And then this duel is gonna have to deal with Shrek and Orange as that duel comes out of pit lane. The GT field just cannot pull itself away from each other here. And there's Shrek. He'll come out in third, might be fourth because the Mercedes is gonna get by him. The Porsche is way off track further back though. Shredder now leads in GT. Look at this extreme chaos. There's like 9, 10 GT cars all tucked on top of each other. But Shredder has the lead for now. Amoeba behind. Then Pariba in third in GT. Good God, look at this! There's only 2 GT cars not in the middle of this giant pack! So from 7th all the way to 19th, that's basically 12 GT cars all stuck on top of each other! We've gone through an entire pit stop sequence and no GT driver has pulled away! We're gonna knock out an ad break just because we're running out of time, but oh my goodness, when we come back, we're gonna keep focusing on this madman fight here in the GT category. Welcome back to Sebring. This has been an insane fight, and Amoeba, your second place, drops into the dirt coming out of the back straightaway. But our top 5 pretty much, Shredder, Pariba, Amoeba, Bilbo, and Shrek, all kind of stuck on top of each other, and most of the GT field was not that far behind. Oh, Amoeba, really wide, has now fallen to 3rd in category. I actually have fallen to 4th in category. Here comes a prototype. That's Fim Racer. I don't know if Fim Racer is aware that the GTs are actively fighting for position right now, but he might want to start being aware of that here. Oh, Shredder's wide and deep into the dirt. Had a bit of a gap on Pariba, so he doesn't give up the lead, but now it is BMW versus Mercedes at the front. Amoeba bounces back to 3rd already. And there's more prototype cars to blitz through this field afterwards. nose to tail for the top 2. Honestly, the entire top 5 just have not had any serious separation. Every time they start to break apart, whoever's up front makes a mistake and gathers them all back up. There's Jarb with a gigantic lunge. Jarb is just rushing to try and get through this traffic as fast as possible. He does not want to deal with this at all, because Jarb has to deal with Nano coming up behind. Here comes Jarb, has a run. There is a fight for second and prototypes as well. Second and third and GTs both go off in the same area. Nano has caught Jarb. I think Jarb has it for now. Now they're gonna be clear. No! Oh no, Nano's got a light on Jarb. Drag race for second and prototypes. A little bit of door baiting, a little bit of contact. Nano hits the inside wall. He slides. Jarb tries to go to the inside. Nano is way offline. Another big twitch. Jarb holds station, but Nano is right in his draft. That's another prototype already cut through the GT traffic. Jarb and Nano both didn't really have a great run in the corner, but I think Jarb has that for now. But again, the real fight seems to be in GT. But it seems to have simplified out just a little bit. Everyone's single filing out, spreading out just a little bit more. It is Shredder, Pariba, Amoeba, Bilbo, and then Shrek in the top 5, followed by Desert Wolf, Arkina, who I honestly thought Arkina would be higher up, then Otavio Orange, OSM Thomas, who would win a bit off from something big earlier, then Snowbarski, followed by Glizzy, then Prius Killer, who rounds out the back in his big pack. Calco has lost touch. I want LMP Moss and Velocity. Here's another prototype car rushing up fast, and that could really upend this fight. This fight that in the GTs has just been going on forever. There has not been a single moment of break here in the GT category. Reminder when it comes to tire life, Amoeba pitted a lap earlier than everyone around him. It gave him track position. That strategy worked very well for him in Stint 1. He's trying it again in Stint 2. And he gets the same amount of track position. Oh my goodness, there's prototypes right there! Dangerous Hemi nearly hits the Ferrari. He did hit the Ferrari. And now Hemi needs to try and outrun all these GT cars before they get to the braking line. Is he gonna be able to pass them all? He's not gonna be able to pass Shredder, I don't think. Oh! And Pariba gets hit by Hemi. Leaves him open to attack, but Shredder's wide as well up ahead. But Pariba is fighting with Amoeba now, so Shredder has a moment of weakness. But the cars behind are fighting too aggressively to do anything of it. Just about nose to tail. Now, for the top 3, Shredder once again falls into the clutches of Pariba. For 19% on the rears for Pariba. For Shredder, 23%. So yeah, I think Pariba maybe Pariba pitted on the same lap as Amoeba, and I just forgot. But yeah, Shredder is... No, wait, Shredders has more worn tires, so Pariba pitted later. So Pariba can stay out a lot longer than Shredder can. Amoeba will have to pit early. So of these 3, we are anticipating Amoeba will pit, then about a lap or 2 later, Shredder will pit, and then the lap after that, Pariba will probably pit. 4th place is Bilbo in the Ferrari. Again, the Ferrari started back in about 8th or so. It has been a fight just to gain any position. There has been no separation in the GT all day long. Well, not all day long, but all stint long. We are almost 50 minutes. We're about 40 minutes through this run. a little over 40 minutes, and there's still just been nothing. Oh, and just to add frustration to these guys, Zeno has just pitted last out of the prototypes. So when Zeno comes out, he's going to have to immediately navigate his way through all of these GT cars. So Zeno's pit stop strategy is really just biting him in the butt because he's constantly having to cut his way through GT traffic every time he comes out of the pits. He's basically having to go through traffic twice compared to all his prototype rivals. Pariba made a mistake. Here comes Amoeba to his inside. Side by side, Amoeba has the run. Contact. And now Amoeba is under a threat from Bilbo. Bilbo can't make the move stick, though. Not this time. Bilbo falls back in the clutches of Shrek. No one in this group can break away. This feels less like a TORA stint and more like a GT sprint race with how this is going. Amoeba is legitimately running down Shredder again. Thus far, I think Shredder has led more than any of the other GT drivers. But he's not been running away. No one has been running away from this field. Amoeba's got to run on Shredder this time. Does he make a dive to the inside? Again, McLarens have not been able to make overtakes on the outside in turn one. If you want to make a turn one move, you got to do it the inside. The only car that can make an overtake on the outside in turn one has been the BMW. Shredder's into the dirt. Amoeba's got to run to the inside. Side by side for a lead, and side by side for third as well. Amoeba shoots by Shredder, but then overdrives the corner, and Shredder is right back in the following corner. And Bilbo tries to do the same thing to Pariba, and Pariba ends up into Shrek. So now a Ferrari goes into third, and Shrek moves up into fourth. And now Desert Wolf is coming to try and take fifth. Pariba did not have a good time at this at all. And now Bilbo is in slightly cleaner air. Can Bilbo do anything to the top two? And mind you, there is a prototype car in the form of Zeno who is racing his way through this group as well. He could also end up having an impact on this, although it looked like Zeno just went off circuit back there, which would be frustrating, I would imagine. Again, we're anticipating Amoeba will pit a lap earlier than Shredder. And there's a prototype coming up. That's Zeno. If Zeno ends up alongside with either of these GT cars in the final corner, it could have a big impact. There's Zeno! And he runs right into the back of Shredder and then holds up Amoeba right afterwards. I imagine Zeno's going to be very pissed off at that, but Shredder had already committed to the line. Pariba must have taken damage because he's pitting. So Pariba in the pits. I don't know if he's either that or Pariba is just trying to get away from the field and turn some laps in clean air. And I think that might end up being the big thing that decides it. If you can turn 2 or 3 laps in clean air away from everyone else, that might be what gives you this stint win. Thing is, Pariba lost a lot of time fighting before this. Fell basically back to 6th after being 2nd for so long. So I don't know how well the strategy is going to work. But running in clean air, that could be big. Big thing is, He might be running clear, but he's going to have to immediately start contending with prototypes. And Bilbo is coming. How much longer do these guys stay out? Probably not going to be a whole lot longer. Shredder drops tires in the dirt this time, and that's great news for Amoeba, but I don't think he's close enough to really capitalize. Not this time, at least. All right, does anyone in our giant GT pack make a stop this time? Shredder's wide, but he uses that to cut in. He's trying to have a nice tight exit, but does the car have what it takes to do that? It's not really tight, but he'll maximize his straight line speed. No one in GT appears to pit this time by. So we're going to knock out an ad break here, and when we come back, we'll likely see the leaders start making their second round of pit stops. Welcome back to Sebring. We finally have some sort of breakaway in GT, but it's not much of one. We have a 4-car breakaway at the head of the GT category. Shredder, Amoeba, Bilbo, and Shrek. And we're anticipating them all to pit in the next lap to 2 laps. Snobarski, Lizzie, and Arkina all pitting now as well. Neither BMW or McLaren have won a stint yet in the C lobby. First stint was won by a Lambo, the second one was won by Ferrari. And speaking of Ferrari, Bilbo is there in the Ferrari in 3rd place. And GT Shrek, he fell down the order quite a bit earlier, but he's rebounded. He is 4th right at the back of this pack in the front. Shredder does not have the pace to just scoot away, but he has been so good at legitimately racing that most of these drivers have not really been able to get by him and get away. We've seen Amoeba get by, or Shrek get by for a few corners or for a lap, but staying ahead has just not happened. Unintentionally, all these drivers are TORA legends. They've been known in the TORA field, in the TORA community for a long time. They've all mastered the art of turning out quick laps in clean air. Shredder is more of a league racer. He does a lot more of driver versus driver fighting. And in this scenario, when it's a driver versus driver fight, I think that's the main thing that is giving Shredder the advantage. He has spent more of his Forza career fighting in these kind of knuckle-out fights in league races than just chasing lap times like all these drivers behind. But how long is that going to last? Because the other thing to consider is that Shredder is doing 2 stints in a row. Fatigue could start being an issue for him. And here comes Amoeba, pitting at a second spot, as we anticipated. So Shredder will likely pit next lap. Where is Amoeba going to end up in relation to Pariba? Well, I mean, Pariba had some sort of issue. He's fighting with Arkina right now. Oh, hit me! Our late leaders, Fem Racer and Nano, go ahead and make their stops as well now. Yeah, that's not even going to be remotely an issue for Amoeba. In fact, he's going to be in just about totally clean air now. And Shredder now has to deal with the Ferrari of Bilbo. Shredder has not been able to do more than like half a lap in clean air. He is constantly being harassed by someone behind. This could be great news for Amoeba. Because Amoeba, well, he does have Moss ahead, and that could be the thing. If Amoeba catches Moss and is held up by Moss, that could negate the run in clean air, the laps in clean air he's going for. How much longer is Shredder going to stay out? I imagine this will be the lap he pits. Yeah, 6%. He's going to be about 50% wear on that left front coming down the back straightaway. He's got to pit this lap. What of Bilbo, who is in the Ferrari just behind? Bilbo can go a lot longer. Bilbo could stay out for quite some time. The thing is that Bilbo is now under threat from Shrek. What is Shrek's strategy? He also could stay out for a while. Reminder, Bilbo and Shrek went long in the first round of pit stops as well. So this fight could become the new fight for the lead here. And if Shredder pits, we need to see where he ends up in relation to Amoeba. No, Shredder is not pitted yet. Shredder stays out another lap. His tires will be hurting, but he stays out another lap. And Amoeba is still in not perfectly clean, but moderately clean air. Moss is far enough up the road. They shouldn't give him any trouble. The other thing is that Moss is another LMP driver in a McLaren. So I don't imagine that Moss would go out of his way to hold Amoeba up. It's very obvious between these two LMP McLaren entries which one's the better one. That's Fem Racer, your prototype leader blitzing by. So all prototypes will have now completed 2 of their 3 mandatory pit stops at this stage of the event. Shredder has just not been able to pull away from this duo, and Amoeba has run 2 laps now in clean air. I think this would be enough. I think Amoeba is going to end up in the lead of the GT field, or at least ahead of Shredder. Shredder drops tires in the dirt again. So Amoeba doing the 1-lap undercut, Bilbo and Shrek going long. Or at least we anticipate the 2 of them will go long. Alright, so we know Shredder's pitting this time. He's just not going to have the fuel to go again. Bilbo, sliding a little wide, but the thing is, Bilbo's now is more focused on trying to get clean laps in and get away from Shrek. Otavio Orange will pit as well now. And so will Thomas. So this will also cycle Desert Wolf up into 3rd. But where is Amoeba going to be relative to Shredder? Amoeba's gotten by Moss. Here comes Jarb, prototype driver. Amoeba kind of got compromised a bit by the prototype, but I don't think it was enough to completely ruin it. I think Amoeba's going to get Shredder here at the least. Yeah, I think Amoeba's going to blitz them all. Laps in clean air just meant so much. He got Orange. Did not get Shredder, though. So Shredder is still ahead of Amoeba. Not by much, but he's still there. somehow, Shredder is still ahead of Amoeba, even though Amoeba cranked out 2 great laps in mostly clean air. Shredder has actually opened the gap on Amoeba. Notavio Orange in the Porsche has kind of unintentionally made himself a factor for this GT Stint win here. Orange by Amoeba once more. So the Porsche seems to have a little bit of strength to him right now. And now Shredder is the driver who is turning laps in clean air. GT Shrek paying out second. So where's Shrek and Shredder going to... Where's Shrek going to end up in relation to Shredder? Same with Desert Wolf, obviously. Shrek will have a decent amount of fuel already in the car, so we can kind of short fill this a little bit, get another 10th or 2 back. That green dot on the front straightaway, that is Shrek. Shredder is coming down the front straightaway. Shrek's ahead. Shrek is still ahead. Shrek's got him. So staying out for another lap worked out in Shrek's favor. So Shrek is now ahead of Shredder at this stage of the event. And by a respectable amount as well. So now I have to wonder about Bilbo, because Bilbo is now in completely clean air. There is no one around him. He's likely going to pit this lap because he'll need new tires. So where's Bilbo going to end up in relation to Shrek and Shredder? But yeah, Shrek has opened up the gap, kind of turned the wick on the moment he had cleanish air around him. So the overcut now seems to be the way to go. Because Amoeba has actually lost ground doing the undercut this stint. The overcut is now the way to go, it seems. But as Bilbo pushed it too far, his tires are going to be hurting when he pits. And here's Bilbo in now. We watch Shrek, who will be fighting with Bilbo for the lead in GT. Shredder's a little bit behind, but not close enough to do anything unless Shrek and Bilbo immediately start fighting each other. It has taken an hour and 5 minutes for the GT field to finally start stretching apart. Bilbo might have him. Bilbo's already just about to turn 1. Moss finally makes his second stop. So everyone will have now made their 2 of their 3 mandatory stops. Shrek goes through. Bilbo coming out. Where is the Ferrari? The Ferrari's ahead of Shrek. So the overcut is keen. By Bilbo. Shrek still runs just a little bit behind the Ferrari. So as Ferrari, BMW. Ferrari won the last stint. Can they go back-to-back in GT stint wins here? Actually slipping back into the grasp of the rest of the field. Again, Shredder's strength is fighting, not hot lapping. And I think that might be the thing that will cost Shredder not only the win, but maybe even a chance at a podium. He's just not able to turn up the heat, put out fast laps when he's by himself. But if this duo of Bilbo and Shrek spend any significant amount of time fighting, it could drag the entire GT field back on top of itself. think Bilbo might be the fastest of everyone in GT right now. Remember, he started 8th and drove his way, fought his way up the grid. The Porsche of Otavio Orange really putting Shredder under some frustration right now. And the Shrek is on it at the head of the field. Again, BMW is the only car that can make an overtake on the outside in turn 1, but Shrek is not willing to rely on that trick. Not right now, at least. Bilbo denied the ideal line by prototypes, but Shrek could not follow up. And that backed both of them up a bit. So all of a sudden, 3rd and 4th are closer. Are we going to see the entire pack at the front regather? I don't think so, but it's a possibility. Otavio Orange clears Shredder. So the Porsche that led a lap in Stint 1, only to finish next to last in that stint. Now showing some speed here in Stint 3. Shredder slips to 4th. And there's still 32 minutes of racing left. Again, those two at the front, they can stay out for a lot longer than everyone else in the GT category, with the exception of Moss, but Moss is dead last in GT, so I don't think he's really in any serious contention. Something happened to Shredder's car. No damage. He just does not seem to have pace now that compared to everyone else, now that the leaders started to spread out. But again, how much longer are they going to stay spread out? Because Otavio Orange is running the top 2 down right now. There will come a point where the older tires on the Porsche will cause them to stop closing on this duo, but that's not here yet. Not really focused on the prototype fight because Vim Racer kind of went up front, took the lead from Jarb early on, and a lot of the prototype fights they've been fine, but they've been quick over. The GT has just been a long, prolonged knockout, drag-out fight, and realistically, the top 6 in GT are all still on top of each other. If something happened, if let's say Bilbo hit the tire barrier coming out of the final corner, like we saw happen in the GT in Stint 1, that would wipe out about half of the GT field. Because the GTs are all just so tight up to each other right now. So Otavio Orange has just about caught Shrek. Bilbo is scooting off into the distance now. I say that, but now all of a sudden Bilbo gives up a bunch of time in the final corner, and all of a sudden the top 3 all on top of each other. Amoeba making a stop with what's basically 29 minutes left, so Amoeba is going to be running a bunch of laps in clean air. But the undercut's just not worked in this stint. I guess if he's already committed to undercutting this far, might as well stay with it. Shredder is a distant 4th. Top 3. This could go to either of these guys. that is Velocity, who is actually in 5th right now. Now, granted, Velocity, I believe, is on a radically alternate strategy because they had to pit for damage in the first lap, but Velocity is honestly having a respectable showing right now, despite being off strategy. So Amoeba is now dropped to 20th, next to last. Orange drops a tire into the dirt. But no one in the top 3 is really making moves. They're all just kind of running nose to tail with each other right now. Ferrari, BMW, Porsche. And then it's another BMW in 4th. Then the Acura in 5th. Shrek goes a little deeper, trying to go wide. This leaves the inside open to Orange. Orange and Shrek side by side. Drag race for 2nd position. Orange has a draft off of Bilbo, but Shrek has the inside line. And the BMW has been monstrous in turn 1. Shrek lunges, but leaves the inside. No, shuts the inside on Orange. Orange stays stuck behind Shrek. The BMW of Shredder is now starting to close back in just a bit. All of a sudden, Shredder is smelling blood in the water and is starting to close in once more. How much longer until these drivers make their final stop? Well, it can be a long time for Bilbo. Shrek pitted a lap earlier than Bilbo, but still, he's got quite a lot of fuel and tire life left. Orange going for the move! He's not got nearly as long. And then Shredder, he's got a little bit more. Shredder's a little bit closer to Shrek, I feel, than he is Otavio. But everyone has about 16 and a half minutes to knock out their final pit stop. Top 3 continue to all duke it out. Orange has gotten by Shrek and is now putting pressure on Bilbo. This Porsche just seems to get faster and faster as the fuel burns off. Probably because of the way it was set up, was likely set up with a low fuel load in mind, and now as it's burning up the fuel load, the springs are acting more and more like how they were supposed to. Orange has a run. He's going to go on the outside by the looks of it. Going into the final corner. This could be interesting. Side by side for the lead. Orange outside, Bilbo inside. Ferrari on Porsche. Orange slides. To bring Shrek back into the fray, but Bilbo is sliding on exit. Orange closes right back in. Shrek is now under attack from Shredder again. Bilbo holds the lead, but Orange is there. Shredder on the outside of Shrek. Shredder just does not really want to commit to going the outside. He wants to have the inside line in the following corner. Big slide though. And that will cause the two BMWs to lose touch with the leaders just a bit. Orange to the inside of Bilbo. Just about neck and neck. Orange gets Bilbo sideways. Bilbo should have a run, but his run's compromised by dropping tires into the dirt. They're still side by side. It's gonna be a drag race. Who goes deeper through this corner? The Orange got him. So now suddenly the Porsche is the one leading in GT. And the BMWs in third and fourth are suddenly closing back in on the top two. But Bilbo is showing weakness. Orange is I didn't say anything about Orange, I think, in the first hour of the race, of this stint. But all of a sudden now, Orange is legitimately fighting up front. But pit strategies, tire strategies are going to be the big thing. Everyone here at the front are all on radically different strategies right now. And there's a prototype that will be trying to blitz their way by this group as well. Here comes the fight for second. Orange is wide. Bilbo looks to the inside. Fim Racer going way outside. There's not much room there. He has to back out the last second. Now Fim Racer will have to overtake this duo in turn 1. Gets that without too much issue. Bilbo goes to the inside of Otavio. Otavio goes into the dirt. Bilbo has the run. Red Porsche and red Ferrari. I imagine right now they're probably seeing red with how long they've been stuck in this prolonged fight. And now, Shredder and Shrek have caught again. It's a 4-car pack at the head of the GT field again. Otavio outside. Bilbo inside. Drag race into the braking zone. Otavio has the run out. Drops tires in the dirt though. Kills some of the exit momentum. Still it's side by side. It's just the cars are swapped if they're inside or outside, but they're still side by side. Who goes deeper this time? The Ferrari went deep, but then overextended. Slid wide. The Porsche is now trapped on the outside. They're still side by side. You don't want to be side by side in this corner, and Otavio backs out of it. He knows better. The top 4 all nose to tail again. And with 12 minutes left for all these drivers to make their final stop, this could go in any direction. Shredder gets briefly to the inside of the Porsche. Down the back straightaway again. There's Nano, prototype driver. Nano's gonna try and go the extreme outside. Oh, that's close, but he got it. And here comes Orange. Orange's gonna have the inside on Bilbo going down to turn 1. But how deep do you send it? Do you want to go side by side to turn 1? There's a lot of room, but you don't want to knock both of each other off. Well, Bilbo backs out of it. Tries the crossover. Didn't work. He doesn't have the momentum. Shredder makes a look. Inside, outside on the Ferrari for second. No move can be made. Orange goes into the lead once again. Bilbo slips to second. And now there's a pair of BMWs harassing him. Shredder didn't have a great run onto the straight, and now Shrek has a run on Shredder on the outside, but Shrek backs out of it for now. For the moment, they all spread apart. 20 minutes left in the event, 10 minutes left for everyone to get their final stop in, and we still have no idea who's going to win in GT. 5.5% for Otavio, so surely he'll be pinning this lap. Bilbo, who is in second, 28% fuel with 25% on the front tires. Shredder, who is third, 34% on that left front, 19% in the fuel. And then Shrek, 23%. So Shrek and Bilbo will be pitting roughly at the same time. We'll see Otavio pit first, then Shredder, and then about a lap later we'll likely see Bilbo and Shrek make their stops. Well, as Vim Racer pits out of the lead in prototypes. Oh, and Shredder is deep into the dirt that time. And that will split third and fourth away from the top 2 in GT once again. Shredder drag race into the final corner. And the number 28 completes the overtake without too much issue. Shrek now pits. Shrek's pitting a lot earlier than I imagined. That is unexpected. Now he has a lot of fuel, so this could be a short stop, and he'll be running, theoretically, in cleaner air. So now back at the front. Porsche versus Ferrari, and then Shredder is there in a BMW as well. Could do something. But again, undercut has not been the way to go. It's been the overcut that has been so strong thus far. But Bilbo, I guess, was just sick and tired of fighting with Shredder, and he thought maybe if he turned some laps in clean air, he could leapfrog himself ahead of Shredder. wide by Otavio Orange. There's Bilbo just behind. They have a twitch by Shredder. Shredder just does not seem to be able to keep up with this duo at the moment. I'm not surprised. That's Fim Racer, second place. And Prototype's likely to inherit the lead back once Nano pits and makes their final required stop. But yeah, Shredder has pretty much lost the plot. I think it's just going to be Bilbo, Otavio, and maybe Shrek for this result. Amoeba might actually be in position to get back by Shredder and try to steal fourth from him by the time this is over, as Amoeba has already done their final stop. The only downside for Amoeba is that they're going to have to be dealing with some very, very cooked tires by the end of this. All right, Orange has made their stop. Where is Shrek and Orange going to end up in relation to each other? Down the front straightaway is Shrek. He's already by Prius. But Orange already merging onto the track. There's a Prototype that could shake things up. But it looks like Orange has it. Oh, and Orange misses the corner. He misses it something nasty. That's great news for Bilbo. That's good news for Shredder as well. Good news for Shrek. But Orange is not in position to be attacked by Shrek. I think it's just going to be Orange versus Bilbo. How much longer does Bilbo stay out? He's in completely clean air. Probably the first time that he's been in completely clean air this entire time. Six minutes left before everyone has to make their final stop. So he can run this lap and maybe another one without issue. Prototypes won't give too much issue to Bilbo here. Yarb has honestly been in a bit of a stalking battle with Hilfiger for a little bit. What about Shredder? When is he going to pit? I would imagine if Shredder knows any better, he'll pit this lap. Oh, and he's deep into the dirt. It's very obvious that now that he's solo, he just does not have pace. He's got the ability to fight. He can fight just as good, if not better than everyone else, but he does not have the pace when he is running all by himself on track, it seems. Bilbo is absolutely streaked away from him, and honestly, I think Shredder is likely going to fall to 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th, just because he does not have any pace when solo on track. But he has put up an incredible fight, as far back as next to last in Stint 2, but in Stint 3 he's led more laps than anyone else. These two, Shredder and Bilbo, have yet to make their stops in Prototype. In GT. In Prototype, Nano has just made his final stop. Fem Racer, who has been dealing with some traffic issue, will try to overtake Nano now. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left for those GT leaders to make their final pit. And yeah, Nano is only just now out of the pit box. Fem Racer is absolutely going to destroy Nano and just run off with this. The top 4 in Prototype honestly did not get too terribly far apart from each other in this stint. It was honestly a lot closer for the top 4 in Prototype here than it was in the first 2 stints. And here comes Bilbo. Does Shredder join him, or does Shredder stay out for another lap? There is also the Lambo of Otavio. So yeah, Shredder, of Thomas. So Shredder and Thomas both stay out for another circuit. They will make their stop at the last possible moment. Shredder's into the dirt again. Where is Bilbo in relation to Orange? That is the real question. Here's Orange, flying down the front straightaway. There's Bilbo coming back onto the circuit. The Ferrari's ahead. Not by a lot, though. If Orange puts together a few laps while Bilbo's trying to get heat back into the tires, he could still catch them. We could still have a fight on for GT. Gonna knock out an ad break here. And when we come back, we'll follow this race all the way to the end. It's on. It's Donkey Kong. Welcome back to Sebring. Shredder and Thomas have both made their final stop, and as I expected, Shredder has fallen all the way back to 5th position afterwards, behind Shrek and Amoeba, who both pitted earlier than him. But Shredder will have a tire advantage over both of them, especially over Amoeba. Real quickly, look at Amoeba's tires here. 30%. He's going to be in the 40s, if not 50s, at the very end of this run. Shrek is not going to have as much of a tire disadvantage, but still, he is going to be on more worn tires compared to Shredder. So Shredder might still be able to fight a third out of this. The real fight, though, is for the lead. There were two for the GT category win here. Bilbo and Orange. And all drivers have completed their mandatory 3 stops. Orange is tucked up behind Bilbo, trying to figure out a way to get by. Less than 10 minutes left. How in the world do you try and get by the Ferrari? This same Ferrari started 8th and manually fought. It was a slow, slogging fight, but he fought his way up the grid to the lead. But Orange in the Porsche fought from even farther back to get in this position. This Porsche was second to last in the starting order. Without a doubt, these are the 2 best cars driver combos in the field. But only one of them can win this stint. It also could be possible that neither of them win if both of them have an incident. Shredder has somehow apparently worked his way back into 3rd already, making good use of the tire advantage, I guess. And Shrek is still stuck behind Amoeba. There's also Thomas and Desert Wolf just a little bit behind as well. So this is another cluster of 5 GT cars all on top of each other all over again. But Bilbo and Orange have broken away from this group enough. Drag race for the lead. And for the stint win, Otavio goes in deep, completes the overtake, blocks Bilbo, then kills his exit speed. The Ferrari has a run. aggressively does Bilbo and Orange fight for this? Because if they spend too much time, they will drag Shredder and Amoeba and everyone else back into the fray. But if you wait too long, you might miss the chance of making the move. There's less than 8 minutes left. And the fight for third is still very hot. Amoeba once again tucked up behind Shredder. The thing is, Amoeba has some cooked tires. And there's Thomas, who pitted with Shredder. Thomas is going to have a similar tire advantage to what Shredder has right now. 5 GT cars, you can throw a blanket on them, and this is the fight for third. So Orange has ended up ahead of Bilbo. As the clock winds away. The winner of stage 1 came home that car came home second in stage 2. The winner of stage 2 might come home second in stage 3. And for all of BMW's numbers that they've shown up with, unless something catastrophic happens here, it looks like a stage win just is not in the cards for them. At least not yet. As a prototype cutting their way through the GT field would likely end up having a small impact on the fight for GT win, just with how little time is left. Actually, that's the prototype leader, Fim Racer. Oh, and Fim's into the dirt, and Shredder went off also. Here comes Amoeba to Shredder's inside in turn 2. Contact! He kicks Shredder sideways, kicks himself sideways as well. Bilbo does not seem to have the pace that Orange has. He is honestly losing ground to Orange. Fim Racer. But Fim Racer is trying to play it smart and cool, not trying to make any big mistakes, as Fim Racer knows that they've got a win in the books, breaking PTG's hold at the head of the prototype field here in the C lobby. Orange has a bit of a slide, letting the prototype by, but Bilbo's not really in a position to do anything about it. I think this fight might be over. Shredder trying to get away from Amoeba. Amoeba dealing with some tires that are just not feeling very good right now. 43% wear. And Shrek's, they're better, but they're not a massive amount better. But this small amount better that Shrek may have could be enough to get him around the outside. It'd be a big move, a big ass trying to get around the outside in the final corner. That's what Shrek's gonna try and do. He just cannot make it stick. Shrek loses not just that shot, he might lose a position of Desert Wolf as well. Nano cutting his way through the field, trying to figure out a way through. Shredder has actually opened up a bit of a gap. Well, he did, and then the prototype caught him and forced him to back up a bit. This lap and part of another lap left. Bilbo is running out of time. Maybe he should have fought harder. Maybe he should have pushed Orange harder for this stint win. But the time has passed for coulda, shoulda, woulda. You need to keep the pressure up. You need to see if you can force Orange to make some sort of mistake. Prototype traffic is coming. Oh, and Jarb's gone off. Something has happened to Jarb. Oh my goodness, that car is deep in the tires. No damage. He should be able to continue, but Jarb will lose the position to Hilfiger. And all the gap that PTG Lil Caesar got for this entry is thrown away with that. Jarb might even lose a position to Zeno here. Marquina and Prius having a little fight of their own. Oh, and Zeno's around and hard into the wall with 2 minutes left. And this car cannot catch a break. I swear every stint this car has had an accident. And this time it was driver mandated. Well, not mandated, it's the wrong term, but. Meanwhile in GT, a minute and a half left. Bilbo is on top of Orange. But how do you get by? For third, it is Amoeba and Shredder. Amoeba inside, Shredder outside. Amoeba's making a run at the very end, but his tires are cooked. And Shredder has the inside. Can Amoeba do anything? Shredder cuts back in front of Amoeba, going into one. Shredder's wide. Loses ground to Amoeba. Amoeba goes to the inside. I think Amoeba's gonna get him. Shredder is hooked from behind, and Shrek is hooked even more. Amoeba's got third with 40 seconds left. And Orange still has Bilbo for the lead in the stint. Hilfiger has an incident. He keeps it together somehow. Does Hilfiger push and try and get by Orange in the corner? Yes, he does. Orange just backs off and lets him go. He's not worried about it. Amoeba has third over Shredder. But will the tires last over these last few corners? This is the most technical section on the track. But Amoeba has the clean air. This should be it for third. And time. Amoeba gets third. Shredder is fourth, where I said earlier he would end up. And your winner, it's a third different manufacturer, is Otavio Orange. And through all of it, no BMW has won a stint or taken second yet. For the prototypes, your winner is Fim Racer. Second place will be LMP Nano. Finally, a good result for the 822 machine. Third place will be Hilfiger in the number 8. Fourth place will be PTG Jarb after going off circuit in the last few laps. And Zeno, with a car that was absolutely destroyed in an accident. He limped the thing around. He'll bring it home 5th. Just a small distance ahead of 6th place, Dangerous Hemi. This car finished second in the last 2 stints, but will be a distant, although he will stay on the lead lap, result 6th for Protos. And your winner in GT will be the number 375 Porsche. With Otavio Orange at the field, this Porsche was the only other car to lead a lap in stint 1, and he led the last most important laps here in stint 2. Second place will be Bilbo, a very close second. And after not having a great result in stint 1, the Ferrari is really coming to life here. Third place will be Amoeba. Second in stint 1, but completely relevant in stint 2, and then third in stint 3 is respectable. Shredder is going to be kicking himself. Led more laps than anyone else in stint 3, but it's only just going to be a pair of 4th place results for him. And Desert Wolf in the Chevrolet pulls out a 5th. Velocity recovers from an accident on lap 1 to come home 6th. An incredible result from them. Shrek went off circuit, will slip to 7th in the end. 8th in GT will be TNR Glizzy. 9th will be Thomas. So Lambo slipping late now. And then Snow Barsky in the number 12 will be 10th. 11th will be Arkina. I really expected stronger from Arkina, but it just did not work out. 12th will be Prius Killer. For Prius, I'm sure he'll just be happy to be able to survive. 13th will be RDE Paribla after losing a bunch of time earlier. Calco will be 14th. This car was in the top 4 contention early, but now nowhere near that. And then last place in GT, but they do finish, will be the other LMP entry, the 827. So we'll knock out an ad break, and then we'll try and get interviews in with any of our winners or top 2, top 3 finishers after we see that they have finished collecting distance. All right, welcome back here to Sebring after a very, very intense fight throughout the entire run in GTs. And now we're just waiting for the field to get gathered up here. Well, not gathered up, but we're waiting for distances to be tallied up here Once we see this driver, Fem Racer, drive forward, we will know that they will have gotten everyone's times, and we'll try to reach out. I will try to send out interviews, but if no one wants to jump in interviews, I'll send a raid out to RSF1 Hunt, who will be streaming Stint 4. We do not have anyone streaming Stint 5, but I will be back to cover Stint 6. Alright, seems like drivers are starting to back out now, likely trying to get moving to the, whatever the next stint is they're going to be doing. Alright, and that seems to be that. So we'll go ahead and start reaching out to our top performers there. Standing by right now, just waiting to see if anyone's going to be able or willing to jump in for interviews here. Looks like everyone's just backing out. Might not even get any interviews here, I guess. Seems like the majority of everyone just wants to get out of here and get moving on. Well, in that case, I am not going to force everyone to stay here for an excessively long period of time. I do want to thank everyone for showing up. And watching us. Again, I will be back to cover Stint 6. Of course, Twitch wants to give me problems. I can't do the raids. I don't know why I cannot do the raids. It's not letting me do the raids. Fim Racer, if you want, you can come into the party for an interview, but otherwise, I'm about to close the stream down here. There you are. All right. And with that, yes, Fim, party, Xbox party that I'm in for interview. Coming in the party right now is Fim Racer. Fim Racer, in the Xbox party, go ahead, include your audio. Fantastic run out there. You finally broke the PTG stranglehold on the prototype category. What do you have to say about that incredible run out there today? Oh, in the Xbox party, there will be a thing that will say, include party audio. It will have a little checkbox, and you just need to hit that. Let me check something here. Might be an issue on my end. Let me check something on my end here. All right. Look now.
I see it. There we go.
All right. Yeah, it was an issue on my end. But anyways, go ahead, include your audio. Fantastic drive out there. What do you have to say about your run today?
I had no idea what was happening because I had basically just woken up from sleeping first, but it was alright. There was a lot of aggressiveness at the start of the race, so I got pushed like to last right at the beginning. So it was a slow climb, but I eventually got to first. So yeah.
Well, if you did this right after sleeping, I guess obviously getting a good rest is the key to winning then, because that was pretty strong what you did, especially with how, I don't want to say smoothly, but how efficiently you navigated GT traffic throughout the run there.
Yeah, I mean, you always gotta respect the GT, like, even if you're not first, you just stick behind at times, not initially go for the pass. It could just slow you down, which is what I saw from a lot of the other protos. They were very impatient, so I guess I had that on my side.
All right, I do want to ask, who is driving your car in Stint 4?
It would be Monica.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on that then. Thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Again, congratulations on your Stint win.
Thank you.
All right, well, with that in mind, that'll pretty much wrap up our broadcast here from Sebring Stint 3. However, in a little bit less than 2 hours, we will, well, not 2 hours, well, it'll be closer to 4 hours, a little less than 4 hours, we will be back to cover Stint 6, the final stint for the 12 hours of Sebring Enduro. Until then, I've been your host, Insane Leader 13. Thank you very much for joining. Farewell and goodbye, everyone.